Cowboy Spawn, and I hear you split town and there's a bounty on your head, Banana.
Yeah, so what? I split town. What do you expect? I'm a banana.
I'm here to take you in, Banana. There's a bounty on your head.
Maybe we can make a deal. I got money.
I don't make deals with scum like you, Banana.
Well, that's too bad. I guess we're just gonna have to draw our weapons.
Just say when, 'cause I'm your huckleberry.
When?
Now, boom! You should have come with me, Banana, because I always get my fruit. Now where's that barkeep? I'm in the mood for a banana daiquiri.
Hey, all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And I'm joined by Logan back there, who's sleeping on the job, of course. But today we are going to be taking a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys Gunslinger Spawn figure. And then I also happened to get the new Violator figure, so I thought I would take a look at that one as well. Now, the Gunslinger Spawn is a Target store exclusive. The Violator is a regular release. And you can see both figures come in a window style packaging, so both figures are clearly displayed. The Violator figure is a mega figure, so it's bigger. It comes in bigger packaging. And then with the Spawn figure, the Gunslinger, you've got that white type box. And on the front, you've got a sticker that says from Record Breaking Comic. His new comic book set some records when it was released here recently. And then, again, the figure is clearly displayed. You've got a green background. You've got the Spawn logo down below. You've got the name of the character. On this side, it just shows you an image of the figure down here in the bottom. And then on this side, you get some actual artwork, similar to what we see in the comics. So pretty cool. And then on the back of the packaging, you just have a look at the actual figure, and it tells us it has 22 moving parts. And then with Violator, again, same thing. Figure's clearly displayed. You've got the Spawn logo down below. You've got the name on one side. You've got an image of the actual figure. And then on the other side, you get some artwork from the comics, which looks really cool. And then on the back of the packaging, again, you have a look at the actual figure. And again, it tells us it has 22 moving parts. Okay, so enough at looking at the packaging. Let's crack these open and take a look at what's inside. Now, before we really delve into this review, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not what I would consider to be this huge Spawn fan. I got the original comics back in the day and I love the artwork, but I was never really a fan of the writing. And then I haven't read a Spawn comic in years, including, I haven't read anything recently, and I've never read any comics with Gunslinger himself. But I've always liked the idea, of taking a character like Spawn and making him a cowboy. So when they released this new figure, and I didn't collect any of the original Spawn figures back in the day, but when they released this new one or announced this new one, I decided I wanted to pick it up just because I liked the idea of Gunslinger Spawn and was able to grab one when it first went up for pre-order on the Target website. And Violator I'm a little more familiar with, but just in general, just know I'm not this diehard Spawn fan. Okay, so here's a look at both figures outside the packaging, and you can see right off the bat that the Violator is the bigger of the two figures. It is a mega figure, of course, and not only is he a little bit taller, but he's also just wider. And then he's also just very heavy. This is a solid figure. It has got a nice weight to it. And so one thing I would recommend is if you're going to put him up on a top shelf, make sure you secure him good. Now, both figures do come with, the typical figure stand, but I don't think, if this guy started to fall over, I don't think this little circle base is going to do you much good. So it's not really much wider than his foot. So, with the Violator, I don't think this is really going to do anything for you. But just again, and he is a little bit top heavy. I've had him fall over a couple times here on the table. So just be wary of that. And like I said, if you're going to put him up on a high shelf, just make sure you secure him good, because if he fell off and fell onto something, it would probably break or kill whatever he fell on. Now, the only accessory that Violator comes with is the figure base, but Gunslinger does come with a couple of weapons, so he comes with 2 revolvers. Now, both pistols are identical to each other, and you've got this metallic silver on the barrel, and then you've got the brown with some sculpting detail on the handle. So overall, these definitely look like pistols that you would see in the Old West. And then besides the 2 pistols, he also comes with a rifle and a holster for the rifle that goes around his shoulder, fits on his back. So overall, nice detailing on the rifle, just like with the pistol, same type of metallic silver. You've got the brown, here on the pump and on the handle. And you also have some nice sculpting detail with some metallic silver on the back of the handle here as well. The stock, and then, like you would see with old Western type rifles, you've got the, where you would cock this to fire it. So it doesn't actually move or anything, but definitely they've given you some nice detail on both of, or all 3 of his weapons. Now with that rifle holster, you just string it over his shoulder and it fits on there really good. And you've got some sculpting detail on this rifle holster as well. You've got some pouches sculpted on there, and you've got a buckle. The buckle is not painted. It is the same color as the rest of the holster with that brown, but you do have some nice sculpting detail. Same thing on the front. They did not paint the buckle there, so they left all of that unpainted on the gun or on the rifle holster. Now with his gun holster, you do have some detail. You've got the big silver buckle there on the front, and you've got the bullets, which are painted a gold color or bronze color. So those look really good. And then he's got even some silver on the actual holster itself, which looks pretty good. And you get 2 holsters for both of his pistols, and they do fit in there snug. So you just slide it in there, and again, once you get them in there, they will stay in there nice and snug. Now for the Gunslinger Spawn himself, overall you've got pretty nice detailing. So the hat is not removable on the figure. I was kind of hoping maybe it would be removable, but it's not. It does, it looks good. It's probably better it's not removable, because it would probably fall off really easy. You've got the skulls that are sculpted on the brown leather strap on the top of the hat there. So that looks pretty good. The hat itself is just done with a black color. You've got basically the normal looking Spawn face with the neon green eyes. He's got a trench coat. Now the arms of the trench coat are sculpted to the arms, so you could remove the trench coat itself, but not the actual sleeve, so it would look pretty funny. Then he's got these wrist pieces with the spikes. Now you do have some silver on the spikes. It looks like, I don't know if it's supposed to look that way, but some of the spikes are not painted silver, so I don't know if the paint has just kind of rubbed off. But they did put a little bit of silver there on the spikes there on his wrist. And he's got the little claw things that come down over his hands, which looks good. Then down here on his left leg, he's got a knife. Now this is sculpted. The knife is not removable. They also didn't really paint, it's just a brown color. Same with the holster. They added some silver on these portions. But in this buckle they did paint, but the knife itself they pretty much left unpainted. Then he's got over here some more pouches. This is the same color. This is brown like the rest of the holsters and stuff, but then this one over here on the right leg is more in keeping with his trench coat and more in keeping with the reddish color that I kind of attribute to Spawn. He's wearing just some brown pants, and then he does have some detailing on the boots. He's got the little, I forget what these things are called, but that you use when you're riding a horse. And he's got the spikes on the front of his boot. And he's got some spikes up here on the top of his boot as well. And you got some sculpting detail on the boot. So overall, I think that looks pretty good. Damn, now I can't remember what these things are called, but I'm sure one of you will tell me in the comment section below. But again, you use these burrs or something like that. I think that's what they're called. And they usually make kind of a ching noise when the cowboys walk around with them. And you've got some nice detailing on the back of the coat. Oh, and you got these like bullets up here on his shoulders, and those are painted, not removable or anything, but those are painted. He's got the spikes here on his biceps. So pretty much in keeping with how he appears in the comic. His chest looks like, again, like typical Spawn. Okay, now real quick, we're going to look at the Violator figure. And overall, this is just a really nicely detailed, really solid paint apps. You've got different washes throughout on his horns, his skin. I mean, he's got all these not rocks, or I don't know what you call these, but yeah, I don't know what his skin is made of, but all these scales and stuff sculpted throughout, and it's just it is an incredible looking figure. And even like inside the mouth, I love how this kind of pinkish reddish paint inside his mouth kind of glistens in the light. And same thing with his eyes. His eyes are done with red, and you got some black wash, but it really picks up the light nicely. His jaw is articulated, so you can close it a bit, and his lower jaw sticks out much wider than his upper jaw. But I just the detailing all throughout this figure is just really, really solid. And he's got like the bones, and then back here on the back, I mean, just look at that spine. It's just really nice detailing on this one. They really kind of went all out as far as the sculpting goes on this one. Probably one of the nicest sculpted figures that I've gotten from McFarlane in a long time. And I'm not a big fan of the character himself. Again, I'm not a super Spawn fan, but I just ended up getting this one just because of the nice detailing. Okay, so these figures stand. The Spawn figure stands, if you count to the top of his hat, a little bit over 8.5 inches. So probably closer to 8 3/4 inches. And then the Violator figure, if you count to the top of his horn, comes in right around 10.5 inches tall. Now, I don't have a lot of other Spawn figures to give you a comparison of. I don't have any of the other recently released ones. I didn't get the Kickstarter one. I do have the Mortal Kombat one, but I haven't actually opened it. It's still in the packaging. But this one I got a couple years ago. Now, this is a nice looking Spawn figure, but the articulation on it is horrible. But you can see that Gunslinger is taller than this one, as is Violator. And like I said, I don't have any other Spawn figures, unfortunately, to give you a comparison of. And then for one more comparison, here's the DC Multiverse Batman figure from McFarlane Toys, if you wanted to do a Batman Spawn crossover. And you can see Gunslinger is taller than Batman, as is Violator. Okay, so let's go over the articulation, starting with Violator. So again, I wouldn't go as far as to say that he is super articulated, but he does have more movement than I thought. Now, the head turns a little bit, but not too much. So this front portion of the head, again, the jaw is articulated, so you can open and close it. With the arms, he can get the arms out good. You've got your standard ball hinge joint up here at the shoulder. He can rotate the arm good. He's got a single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. And then you also get rotation at the elbow. And then the hands are on hinges, so you do get good up and down movement and rotation, which is nice. He's got a midsection joint here, which, he doesn't really have much in the way of ab crunch, but honestly, you get some rotation there, but that's about it. You don't really get any back or forth movement. Then with the legs, you've got those hinge joints, but he really can't do the splits very much with the way the legs are sculpted. He can get his leg forward about that much, and he can't do his leg back very much. And then you get some rotation there. You can kind of rotate it inward, but you really can't rotate up here at the, where the leg attaches. You really can't rotate outward, just inward. And then he has single hinged knee, but he actually has good bending there at the knee with the way, the way it's sculpted. So he can get his leg straight about that much. But then again, he can bend it inward pretty good there. You also get rotation there at the knee. Then you have this joint down here, so you get up and down movement. So he gets pretty good movement there. And then you have hinges on the feet as well, so that gives you additional movement. You don't really have ankle. You get a little bit of pivot with the feet, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And you can rotate the feet. Actually, I take that back. You actually do get pretty good pivot with the feet. So good movement there. So like I said, not super articulated, but with a big bulky figure like this, I actually think it has a pretty good range of movement overall. Okay, and then with the Gunslinger, he can rotate his head all the way around. He can look down actually pretty good, and he can look up about that much. You get pretty good head pivot as well. So overall, I would say the head movement with this one is nice. Then with the arms, you can get the arm out good there. Again, your standard ball hinge type joint there at the shoulder. He does have a bicep swivel. He's got double jointed elbows, which is nice. And then you've got the hinges and rotation with the hands. So you've got some up and down movement. Actually, I take that back. I don't think he has hinges on it. Or it looks like it's attached to a ball joint. But the way these things come over his hands, you don't really get a whole lot of up or down movement with the hand. So you just essentially get rotation with the hand. Then with the midsection, you have that same kind of joint we always have with the McFarlane figures. Not really an ab crunch, so you really can't crunch forward there, but you do get rotation. You know, he also has the trench coat. And then you also get a waist swivel, and he can actually probably bend forward a little bit more at the waist than he does there at that midsection joint. Same with the back movement. Then with the legs, you know, he's got the holsters and the guns and everything, but he can actually still do the splits pretty good. You can get the leg forward about that much. You do have, I believe this one has a thigh swivel. Actually, maybe not. Usually he likes to hide thigh swivels here, but it looks like he didn't do that. You just got that same kind of joint like we've been seeing with all of the modern McFarlane figures. So you do have some rotation up high there, but not what I would call an actual thigh swivel. You get the double hinged knee, so he does have good bending there at the knee. You do not get a boot cuff swivel with this one, but you get good rotation with the feet, and you've got up and down movement, but you don't really get ankle pivot. Essentially, you just get the rotation there and the up and down movement. And then 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. And overall, even though I'm not a huge Spawn fan, I actually really like both of these figures. Articulation is pretty decent on both of them, especially for McFarlane figures. Paint applications are solid overall, definitely on the Violator. The sculpting detail on the Violator is amazing. If you're a fan of that character, I highly recommend that you get this figure. And then with the Cowboy Spawn, or as I call it, but Gunslinger Spawn, I think it's a fun looking figure. And again, even though I'm not a huge Spawn fan, I actually glad that I was able to get it. Now with the Gunslinger, it is a Target store exclusive. It has not been available online for some time. I don't know if it will be at some point in the future. I believe the figure has started to hit physical stores as well, so that's probably your best bet at this point. It may be, they may make it available again online at some point, but I believe, when the original pre-order sold out on it, I don't think they've put it back up since then. Now, with the Violator, it's available everywhere. You can get it at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. And as I said, that one is a very solid figure. It's very heavy, great sculpting detail, decent articulation for the type of figure it is. And if you're a fan of the character, I definitely recommend you pick it up. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on these figures in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. You should also hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.